Microbiologists, we work with things we can't see for our whole lives. And we work in laboratories. So we work on our computers and so on. And I get the best of both worlds now because I can go to sea, I can do field work, and at the same time, we can do cutting edge genetics and drug discovery research in our laboratories. And that really it's hugely exciting. Antimicrobial resistance is one of the top 10 major health challenges globally, and it's getting worse. So we really need to find new drugs, and the place to look is in areas where there is a lot of diversity, and that's why we're interested in marine systems, particularly deep water and untapped areas of high diversity. We know more about the moon than we know about the seafloor. So it is a hugely untapped potential source of new biodiversity, and new biodiversity is an opportunity to look for new chemistry. And new chemistry is what we're looking for, potentially for new drugs. So we can go out, we can go to the reefs, we send the ROV down, it has its camera, and we can then pick one sponge at a time. So we can instead of destroying the environment by dredging, etc., we're able to identify what we're looking for. We have GPS coordinates, so we can go back and look for it again. And from there it goes onto the boat, where we do, the samples get brought back to the laboratory, and we then take small samples that we can we call it metabolomics. So we look at what chemistry the sponge is making. And in parallel, we also look at the microbiology, so we know which bacteria are there, and we can look at what genes they have, so we can understand how they make these compounds. The traditional research centres in the country are Cape Town, Johannesburg, Gauteng and Natal. But the Eastern Cape is relatively under-resourced. We have small universities. And so the infrastructure platform that we've developed at Rhodes University is a major game changer for the Eastern Cape. This project invested in equipment infrastructure, and the boats, the ships, where the biodiversity is in the Eastern Cape. So we're consolidating all the work in the place where the majority of the diversity in the marine systems are. And that's really important. It's a legacy that will go on long after the project. This project's really important because it brings together people from different expertise, but who have experience in taking drug discovery further. So in South Africa, we're really good at getting past finding the new compounds, but we don't really have the capacity to take those new compounds further. And our UK collaborators have a lot of experience in doing that.
Our first activity really was to look at a collection of natural products that was already stored and harvested, had already been harvested, and was stored in various South African research labs, and look at those compounds for antimicrobial activity. I think both Rosie and I have been very pleased with the way we did manage to get the project up and running during the first lockdown, recruiting staff, appointing new students, dealing with all sorts of travel restrictions with staff coming from overseas to the UK or within Africa to South Africa. Part of the capacity building that we wanted to do was to put in place networks of people that could further support discovery work, the early discovery work, but also then take some of those discoveries into downstream development. And usually that would involve researchers traveling in both directions, exchanging ideas and expertise, working in each other's labs, getting together, having workshops, those sorts of things. And basically, none of that has happened until really very recently. There's an increasing number of online workshops and hybrid workshops, and I think that's been one of the positives.
And in an odd way, COVID has been really beneficial because it's taught us that we can do projects without having to travel. What you need are people who are open to working in a team. And I think this project's been really, one of our achievements thus far is establishing a cohesive team. My vision is that it is a sustainable hub that supports drug discovery far into the future. And our job in the first 3 years is to show that this model works, that we can deliver compounds that could potentially go into the pharmaceutical industry, and that marine natural products is a viable way to look for new chemistry. Africa needs to make drugs for Africa to solve African problems. We have the capacity and we have the intellectual capacity to do it ourselves, and the quicker we do that, the better it's going to be for us.